With all our hearts, we pray and ask, God bless Anambra, God bless the shining light that we bear. We're the only ones to make her brighter, the only ones to make her better, the only.
Is the Minister of State for Environment, Federal Minister of State for Environment, Lady Sharon Ikazo. You're welcome. National Anthem, please.
Test of the Federal Ministry of Environment in saying that progress is made at the host communities of Obiano and Obiano. The team is fast-tracking the environmental impact assessment, which Seepco till date has not done, but in the spirit of the communique that was signed on the 15th of September, we are moving forward, and the Federal Ministry of Environment is aiding us and facilitating us to get to an amicable conclusion. I will leave the rest for the rest of the speakers. I welcome you to Anambra State. Thank you.
On behalf of the government and people of Anambra State, I welcome you all to Nigeria's safest state. I welcome in particular a proud daughter of Anambra State, the Honorable Minister of State of Environment, Chief Barrister Sharon Ikazo. Ladies and gentlemen, this event was convened to address the activities of Seepco in Anambra local government, which plays host to the Amish field within OML 143. Our dear state falls within the geographical and the geological boundaries of Anambra Basin, a major inland sedimentary basin in Nigeria known to be very rich in oil and gas. Although several oil block concessions traverse Anambra State, only 2 companies are today actively operating in the state. These are Orange Petrol Resource, operators of OPL 914 and 916, and Sterling Exploration and Energy Production Company, Seepco, the operator of OPL 280, now OML 143. Ladies and gentlemen, while I have no intention to overstate the obvious, permit me to inform the Honorable Minister and regulators here that Seepco commenced operation in Obiano and Obiano communities in Anambra local government as operator of OML 143 in 2014 without registering its presence in the state. The company also has continued to operate in the state without compliance with the extant laws and regulations governing the exploration and exploitation of hydrocarbon resources. These include lack of environmental impact assessment, EIA, lack of DPR permits for exploration, well drilling, pipe laying, facility construction, etc. Lack of verifiable host community engagements, corporate social responsibility, or community development projects. Lack of compliance with acquisition of land, community fatality associated with these operations. This stakeholders meeting we are holding today follows the outcome of the meeting of September the 15th, 2020, convened by the Honorable Minister of Environment. The meeting of September 15 followed a series of complaints from my office and a series of fact-finding missions by the Ministry of Environment, Defense Headquarters, and DPR. A communique was produced at that meeting. Honorable Minister, it is the hope of Anambra State that today's meeting will assess the extent of which Seepco has complied with the stipulations of the communique under reference and ensure full compliance by Seepco and its joint venture partner NNPC. This will be further addressed by the submission of Anambra State at this meeting. In addition to fulfilling the stipulations of spelled out in the communique under reference, that Seepco should provide adequate technical information on its activities and above all, declare its production from Amish field as it relates to Anambra State. It is crucial because we now believe, based on information in the public domain and presentation by NNPC and the Ministry of Petroleum and the recently concluded Southeast Gas Aggregation Workshop, that Anambra is oil and gas producer. Honorable Minister of State, your visit to Anambra State will give you a first-hand knowledge of how Seepco activities have led to the disastrous environmental degradation of Obibele and Obiano communities in Obiano local government area. Their operations have further worsened the plight and living conditions of those communities, thereby creating palpable tension and restlessness that were unknown before the company arrived. It's important to quickly note also that Obiano is one of the local government areas in Anambra State that is flood prone every year. And this results in debilitating erosions which affect lives and properties. This natural disaster, which has become a yearly occurrence, is of great concern to me, as the cost of mitigating the destruction is astronomical. Honorable Minister, I also want to urge you to use your good office to help us assess the ecological fund, to help us avert the climate disaster that we are facing in Anambra State. Anambra State used to be the second smallest state in Nigeria, a landmass of 2,884 square kilometers. Today, we are the smallest state in Nigeria. Lagos, that used to be smallest, is growing into the Atlantic Ocean, while we've lost about a third of our state to erosion. Again, we are counting on you to ensure that Seepco complies with the EIA requirements to sustain our quest to become a member of oil and gas producing states of Nigeria. I wish you all very fruitful deliberations, and once again, I welcome you to Anambra State. the light of the nation. Thank you. Now declare the workshop open. Thank you very much.
To call on
I'm indeed very pleased to give those brief remarks at this stakeholder meeting on the environmental impact assessment of the proposed Amishi and Inye Field Development Project by Sterling Exploration and Production Company Limited. This project involves drilling for oil and gas and associated activities that are geared towards maximal oil exploitation of both fields. The development of our nation's hydrocarbon resources is one of the central agenda of President Muhammad Buhari's led administration. I'm equally aware of His Excellency Chief Obiano's desire to bring about the development of the oil and gas potentials of Anambra State, and also the protection of the environment and the livelihood of the good people of Anambra State. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, one of the main objectives of the administration in oil and gas industry is to optimally utilize proven reserves. This is expected to boost our export earnings and provide employment opportunities in various categories to a number of our Nigerian professionals, both skilled and semi-skilled labor force. In exploiting the nation's abundant hydrocarbon reserves, however, extreme caution must be taken in ensuring that the best practices from the environmental perspective are adopted so that our future and that of our children is not jeopardized. It is therefore important that concerted efforts are made to identify the potential negative impacts of this project and plan for their mitigation to be put in place. Based on my experiences and also in working in the Ministry of Environment on similar drilling projects, I urge this gathering to pay particular attention to issues such as flooding, decline in biodiversity. Our people need to let me so whatever is done must not tamper with the biodiversity and the fishing capabilities of our people. Also land degradation, oil spill, waste management, as well as social, cultural, and gender-based issues must be looked into. These matters, if not properly handled, could create social upheavals and civil unrest. So these issues must be examined with the overall objective of making this project environmentally compliant. You would recall that the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development led to the adoption of Agenda 21 in Rio, a blueprint of environmental principles, policies, and actions required to be taken by all countries well into the 21st century. It was this declaration that brought out the repeated principles of polluter pays, cradle to grave, precautionary principles, etc. One of the most important articles in the Rio Declaration was the Principle 17, which states inter alia that environmental impact assessment as a national instrument shall be undertaken for proposed activities that are likely to have a significant adverse impact on the environment and are subject to a decision of the competent national authority. And that competent national authority being the Ministry, Federal Ministry of Environment. The mandate of the Ministry of Environment is to ensure environmental protection, natural resources conservation, and sustainable development. And in achieving this our mandate, the key legal instrument that we use is the Environmental Impact Assessment Act. This act enables the application of EIA as a planning tool to ward off environmental hazards and problems that may arise from development projects. At the execution of this project we're here today, it was observed that Seepco did not obtain all the required regulatory permits before ever embarking on drilling at the site. This was a clear violation of Section 62 of the Environmental Impact Assessment Act. Consequent upon this, a stop work order dated the 6th of July 2020 was issued by the Ministry of Environment to Seepco on the illegal activities. But beyond the stop work order, I want to state clearly here today that my ministry shall ensure that the full extent of the law is brought to bear on any erring party. Of note, however, in this stakeholders meeting, which is aimed at arbitrating and resolving the issues between the Anambra State Government and Sterling Petroleum. As you heard the Governor say, this meeting is sequel to an earlier meeting held between Seepco, Anambra State Government, at the offices of the Federal Ministry of Environment, where a communique was issued and signed by both parties towards a conducive working environment for the development of oil and gas potential. I'm particularly glad that the community concerned, the direct community concerned, are here to be represented. So it is my ardent hope and belief that the proceedings of this stakeholder meeting shall put forward far-reaching ideas and recommendations that will assist in making the proposed Amishi field development project to be executed to the highest level of environmental sustainability. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a fruitful celebration, but please let us all bring all the issues to the fore. Environmental degradation is not what we want for our land in Anambra. We all know what went on in the Niger Delta and is still going on in the Niger Delta. We do not want a repeat of such in our land, Anambra. So I thank you all for your attention, but please, I want us all to work together towards protecting our environment for the next generation. For I believe that economic growth and environmental protection can go hand in hand and should go hand in hand. Let us bear in mind that we won't have a society if we destroy the environment. Thank you very much for your attention. God bless Anambra State and God bless the Federal Republic.
On behalf of the Anambra State Oil and Gas Development Committee, I welcome the Honorable Minister and all stakeholders to this very important stakeholders engagement meeting. As you heard before, this meeting is sequel to one that was held in Abuja on the 15th of September, followed by another one that was held on the 17th of September. Both meetings arising from petitions that were written by His Excellency the Governor of Anambra State and the host communities of Ubele and Obiano against the activities, illegal activities I may say, of Seepco, Sterling Energy and Exploration Company in Obiano local government, and consequent to investigations that were conducted by the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Relations, the Federal Ministry of Environment, the Naval Headquarters, Defense Headquarters, the Department of Petroleum Resources. All these investigations included visits to the operations of Seepco in Obiano, and some of the visits witnessed ugly and hostile and life-threatening reactions by Seepco and its hired thugs and agents. I am not a politician, so I tend to speak to facts. What I'm going to present to you are facts as we've seen them. Anambra State is not a prospective oil and gas producing state. Anambra State is a de facto oil and gas producing state. The only challenge we have is that the operator has been operating stealthily and deceitfully and taking the resources without recognizing the rights and privileges of the people of Anambra State. That is what we need to have addressed. At the end of the stakeholders meeting that was held in Abuja, a communique was entered into that was signed by Seepco, by representatives of Anambra State, by Defense Headquarters, and by representatives of the Ministry of Environment. And that communique recognized that Seepco's operations have been without environmental impact assessment. All of its activities in Anambra State, there is none that has any environmental impact assessment. It is therefore no surprise that their activities have led to significant devastation of the environment, as you will see. Absence of host community engagements, corporate social responsibility, and community development projects. I am an indigene of Anambra State. What I do not want to see in Anambra State is a repeat of the mayhem that was caused by the oil and gas industry in the Niger Delta. We do not want to see that in Anambra State. The efforts we're making is to ensure that there is peaceable and peaceful operations of oil and gas in Anambra State. We do not create a theater of war in Obiano. Ndị Obiano, please you. It's also the truth that DPR has not sanctioned, not approved any activity of Seepco in Anambra State. We went to great extents to allow Seepco to prove us otherwise. They never were able to do that. Always attempting to hoodwink us. And unfortunately, with such professionals, that was not possible. OML 143, for those who do not know, straddles Anambra and Delta. It crosses both states. And what Seepco would have us agree to is that they obtain permissions from DPR for wells in Delta and use those permissions for activities in Anambra State. Worse still, because environmental impact assessment was not conducted, it is on record, it is the truth. The people are here. People who died as a result of activities of Seepco. Now, in the oil and gas industry, accidents happen, but there is a method of dealing with those things. Any accident, any incident is recorded and is reported to DPR, to Ministry of Environment. It is investigated and preventive actions are taken to ensure these things do not repeat. Now imagine people dying and Seepco refusing to acknowledge and report those incidents. The records are there to show. Seepco came into Anambra State, as the governor mentioned. In 2014, they started their operation. There has been no official communication that acknowledges the presence of Seepco in Anambra State. They acquired land, or purported to acquire land, by sowing seeds of discord in the communities. No piece of land they have has any permission, authorization from the state government. And because of the way they've chosen to act, they have basically militarized, polarized the communities. Case in point, this meeting was called at the behest of the Ministry of Environment. It was being organized between the Ministry of Environment and the Anambra State Oil and Gas Development Committee. And Seepco was duly informed. The committee orchestrated the presentation that was going to come from the communities, to those communities. And what does Seepco do? They appear here today with a retinue of probably 50 host community members. From their side, what is that meant to achieve? And this is after all the efforts we have put in to put them to right. It has become necessary to tell the stories such that you understand the context that has brought us here today, but also such that Seepco understands the determination of the government of Anambra State and the utter determination of the Anambra State Oil and Gas Development Committee that Seepco conducts its operations in Anambra State as a truthful, conscientious corporate citizen, fully recognizing the rights of the people and recognizing and keeping to the laws of the land. At the meeting of the 15th of September 2020, a number of resolutions were reached. The first one is repair and restoration of the devastation caused to the environment in line with the Federal Ministry of Environment guidelines. Second one, there should be immediate conclusion of the environmental impact assessment studies of NEA field and the Amish field. What we're doing here is catch up. You may recall that the General Group Managing Director of NNPC announced entering into an agreement with Seepco for the production of oil and gas, primarily gas. It's a long-term agreement they entered into. I wonder what the Group Managing Director would do if he knew that everything Seepco has done to date has been illegal, because they do not have an EIA and there's been no DPR permit for what they're doing. It was also agreed that Seepco and NNPC, by the way, Seepco operates in OML 143 as a contractor of NNPC through NPDC, Nigerian Petroleum Development Company. So ideally, we should also be holding NNPC and NPDC accountable for the actions of Seepco. and they should fully regularize their presence in Anambra State through the EIA process, midwife by the Federal Ministry of Environment. And they should faithfully conduct the requisite EIA studies that fully encompasses all the dimensions of their operations. And they should give truthful priority to and ensure the establishment of corporate social responsibility programs and projects for the affected communities. We're talking here about Obiano and Obiano. And that henceforth, all project activities shall be conducted legally and legitimately in full compliance with all applicable regulations. The Federal Ministry of Environment, Anambra State Government, NNPC, DPR, and Seepco shall at all times act in recognition of the interest of all affected parties for the environmental sustainability and longevity of the oil and gas extractive business. And that there shall be a larger stakeholders meeting, which is today's meeting. This communique was signed, as has been said, by all of the parties present in the meeting. And to kind of underscore the grounds of the people of Anambra State against Seepco, on the 27th of September, NNPC and Seepco publicly acknowledged hydrocarbon production from Obiano 143, and thereby removing any questions about the illegitimacy of Seepco's presence till date in Anambra State. But Anambra State is not about to become an oil and gas producing company. They are an oil and gas producing state. They have their own duties. Seepco has their own duties, and they will do their duties by the law. Which is why we see the way forward as being clear that the resolutions that were reached at the meeting of the 15th of September should be religiously implemented. It is our belief that the resolutions addressed most of the demands of the state and the host communities. What Anambra State demands is positive action on the part of Seepco. And on our part, the part of Anambra State, the enabling environment for Seepco to conduct its business and ensure realization of the project and the resolutions will be there offered by the government of Anambra State. It is our view, therefore, that today's stakeholders meeting offers Seepco opportunity, first, to state to what extent it has gone towards actualization of the different actions agreed to on the 15th of September. Today is the 6th of November. It's almost 2 months down the road. What has happened? And then to present its plans and strategies aimed at addressing all of the issues identified and signed off to in the communique. In addition, Anambra State also demands that Seepco first present a statement on the current status of its operations. A truthful statement verified by the regulators, including the Federal Ministry of Environment. Present a categorical statement or declaration of its production volumes of gas and oil from Amish and Enya fields of Obiano 143. And we're not talking about any distinction in volumes. Any volumes produced and volumes produced, whether they are test or operational or production volumes. You declare them and declare what is due as royalty, because it is from there that the rights of Anambra State are derived. And then that Seepco provides Anambra State with the technical information and data it needs to enable it to assert its rights to the oil and gas, as an oil and gas producing state, to the fullest. Again, as I say, I'm not a politician, so I speak to the fact. Seepco has abused the trust of the people of Africa. Don't hand them fish. Teach them how to fish. That is the only way you will be there for 50, 60 years, which is the average lifetime of oil and gas field operations. Do not create a culture of dependence on handouts, because you're creating problems for tomorrow. Encourage entrepreneurship and self-reliance in the people of Obiano and Obiano. Catalyze growth in agricultural produce and primary agricultural processing, so that people can be seen to be adding value to what they're producing and therefore attracting more economic returns to them. Promote peace within the communities and its neighbors, because the ale you create today, before your operations are out, they will consume you. And do not erode traditional values and institutions of the people. Obiano is rich in traditional values and customs. Please do not, by your actions and by your instigations, destroy those treasured values. In particular, what we say is we are expecting Seepco to seek opportunities of technologies that are available today, improve belief on professional grounds, but also particularly because she is a daughter of a son. It has taken us almost 2 years to get here. I plead with Seepco that they turn a leaf and work with the government and people of Anambra State and show themselves as corporate organization that has responsibility to the environment and is a good citizen of both the communities of Obiano and Obiano. Thank you very much.
Okay, Dozie. Frank, to be honest with you,